On this episode, we are going to bring one of our storylines to a close already. I will explain all in the video. Hi everybody, welcome to Monday Night Raw. Welcome to our TEW9 playthrough where we are playing as the WWF from 1993. As you can see on screen now, we kick off with a couple of pre-show matches. We kick off Lex Luger taking on Reno Riggins. A decent reaction from the crowd. Subpar wrestling. Lex Luger defeated Reno Riggins in 7 minutes 13 with a clothesline. The idea here was just to get Lex Luger on the card somewhere. Didn't really have a space for him. I'm trying to be quite detailed in these shows, actually. I've decided to kind of make an effort at it. Not every segment will have a lot of detail, but I like to think I'm going to sort of go places with this one. We get 48 wrestling rating, 40 crowd, 56 overall. Yeah, so Lex Luger didn't really have a space on the main show, so we used him here. Next up, we have got High Energy taking on the Executioners. A poor pre-show match. High Energy defeated the Executioners in 8 minutes 52 when Owen Hart pinned Barry Hardy with a missile dropkick. And Owen Hart carried the match in terms of in-ring performance. So we get a 45 for the wrestling, 30 crowd, segment 52. I don't think that's actually too bad. Obviously, the crowd rating brought it down, but what do you expect? High Energy only sitting at recognisable. The Executioners, both jobbers. And then El Matador takes on Razor Ramon. This was half decent. I quite like this one. Pre-show bout that had good heat and decent wrestling. Razor Ramon defeated El Matador in 12 minutes 13 by pinfall with a fall-away slam. 62 wrestling, 60 for the crowd, 66 overall. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with that one, and hopefully that's really got the crowd going for the main show, which we're going to go to right now. And we open up with Vince McMahon and Jerry Lawler. Now, Jerry Lawler wasn't quite on commentary at this time. It should have been probably Gorilla and Bobby, but I've changed things up a little bit. And we kick off, as I say, Vince McMahon with Jerry Lawler, welcoming everybody to the first ever Monday Night Raw. They are then interrupted by Ric Flair and Bobby Heenan. So Ric Flair's music just kind of comes through the speakers, and Ric Flair gets in the ring with Bobby, and Flair says, "You know, I've been everywhere. I've beaten everyone. And I come to the World Wrestling Federation to prove once again that nobody can touch the Nature Boy." Woo! I'm not going to do that very often. And it says, yeah, the crowd boo, which they probably would. But it seems some people, some ungrateful people, can't handle living in the shadow of greatness. And then Bobby Heenan says, "That's right, Rick. You brought Mr. Perfect under your wing and made him. Without you, he'd just be another athlete with a bad haircut and a good drop kick." And then Mr. Perfect comes out to ringside to everyone's joy, I guess, is probably the wrong word. But yeah, it gets a bit of a pop. And he gets into the ring, takes a microphone, and he locks his eyes on Ric Flair. And Mr. Perfect says, "You know what, Rick? You're right about one thing. You did show me what it's like to be around greatness. But I learned something else too. Great men don't stab their friends in the back. You used me, Flair. You and your stooge here." And he points at Heenan. "But I'm done being anyone's sidekick. I'm not walking behind you anymore. I'm walking over you." And Heenan's is sort of a "you ungrateful," and Perfect cuts him off. Save it, brain. How about you put your money where your mouth is, one-on-one tonight? And since I'm sick of seeing your face around here, let's make it simple. Loser leaves the WWF. And Ric Flair kind of mulls it over a little bit, and he's thinking. And he says, "You want the Nature Boy tonight? You got it. But when I'm done, you'll wish you stayed behind me instead of standing in front of me. You'll be the one sent packing and looking for a new job." So yeah, we're bringing this storyline to an end sooner than anticipated. Ric Flair asked for his release, and although I've managed to keep him, I'm just worried if he asks for it again and we reject it again, he'll just walk, he'll just stay at home and not work. And I might as well get something out of him now. If we can get some pop on Mr. Perfect, we're just going to have to do it. Ric Flair struggled when going off script. Well, I don't believe that for a second. 69 rating overall. Marty Jannetty then takes on the Predator. I originally had Bob Holly making his debut against the Predator here, but it didn't kind of fit. It was kind of like just using Bob Holly for the sake of it. I don't mind kind of using him in a few B shows maybe, and then eventually get him involved in some A show action and sort of build him up that way. It just didn't make sense to just have him on it for the sake of it. So I've gone with Marty Jannetty taking on the Predator, and we had a decent reaction from the crowd, but terrible wrestling. Jannetty got the win in 8 minutes 41 by pinfall with a rocker dropper, whatever that is. 41 wrestling rating, 38 for the crowd, and a 48 overall. They didn't click, so yeah, their chemistry was all off, which probably didn't help the match, but I wasn't expecting too much from this one. Gene Okerlund then interviews the current WWF champion. So it starts off with Gene Okerlund in the ring. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me at this time, the World Wrestling Federation champion, the Hitman, Bret Hart. And obviously, Bret comes out, and then Gene continues. Bret, in recent weeks, Razor Ramon has made it very clear that he's got his sights set on your championship. He's gone on the record saying that you're nothing but a stepping stone in his rise to the top. What's your response to that? And Bret Hart says, you know something, Gene? I've heard all the talk from Razor Ramon. I've seen the toothpicks. I've seen the cheap suits. And I've heard him call himself the bad guy. But the way I see it, Razor Ramon is nothing but a bad imitation of a real champion. And Bret continues, he likes to talk big, but talking doesn't win championships. Heart, determination, and wrestling ability wins championships. Razor Ramon can strut around all he wants, but when the bell rings, he's stepping into the ring with the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. And Gene Okerlund says, strong words, Bret. Do you feel that Razor Ramon's mind games are getting under your skin at all? And Bret says, not a chance, Gene. Guys like Razor, they think intimidation wins matches. But I've faced bigger, I've faced meaner, and I've beaten them all. Razor wants to make a name for himself. He picked the wrong guy to do it against. At the Royal Rumble, he's going to find out what happens when you step in the ring with a real champion. Razor Ramon talks about taking what he wants. Well, he can try, but the Hitman's not giving up this title for anybody. And then Gene Okerlund just finishes off. There you have it, folks. Strong words from the WWF champion, Bret the Hitman Hart, ready for Razor Ramon at the Royal Rumble. And this gets a rating of 80, which I am very pleased about. This was just to, I'm going to say keep that storyline going, because I think it started before 4th of January in real life. I honestly can't remember, but obviously for us it's kicking it off, but in real life it's probably been going for a few weeks. So yeah, 80, pleased with that one. Doink the Clown then takes on Tatanka. And this was another throwaway match, really. And I know I just said about not using Bob Holly just for the sake of it, but I don't want to forget about Tatanka. And I said in the previous episode, I usually don't tend to use him in these saves, but I always liked him as a kid, and Doink as well for that matter. So yeah, use him. And also, I thought we might get a better match than this out of them, but there we have it. But we've got a good heat and decent wrestling. Tatanka got the win in 9 minutes 45 by disqualification. So Doink probably squirted him with his water from his flower or did something. Disqualification win. And this was our storytelling match as well. 64 wrestling, 60 crowd, 59 overall. Maybe a little bit disappointed with that one. But yeah, again, a bit of a throwaway match. But yeah, let's get these guys on the card. Then we've got a news segment. I like to do these. I don't think they did them in real life on Raw. It was more of a Superstars and Wrestling Challenge thing. But basically, Sean Mooney is sat in the studio and he introduces certain wrestlers. They then cut a promo. Now, we do have promos here from Crush, Papa Shango, Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels with Sensational Sherry. We're not going to sort of concentrate on the Crush and Papa Shango. We've just put them in the segment, to try and get a bit of pop. They would realistically be in this segment, but we're only telling the story here. In Shawn Michaels' promo, he says, Marty Jannetty keeps talking about unfinished business. Well, he's right. The unfinished business is me finishing what I started when I threw him through that barbershop window. Marty, you can come back. You can smile for the fans, but you'll never be the Heartbreak Kid. You'll always be the guy trying to keep up. And then Sensational Sherry says, and believe me, sweetheart, nobody keeps up with Shawn Michaels. Then Marty Jannetty, when it comes to his promo, he says, Shawn Michaels wants to talk about finishing what he started. Well, he's right, because at the Royal Rumble, I'm going to finish it. You threw me through a window, Shawn. You tried to end my career, but you didn't finish me off. You just woke me up. And when I get my hands on you, you're going to find out exactly what happens when the Rocker comes rolling back. 58 rating overall. Shango and Crush may have dinged it a little bit, although saying here Marty Jannetty didn't do well without a script, and Papa Shango actually did quite well, so yeah, that's okay. That's something. I do want to get Papa Shango over. Another guy I really liked as a kid, and I'd like to see him be a lot better. When I did my TEW 2020 version of this save, I got him into the main event, and I was quite proud of that. The Head Shrinkers take on Jim Brunzell and Ross Greenberg. Another throwaway match, but this is a tag team one. We want to make sure that we're using our tag team division. I could have had 2 tag team matches on the card, but I decided just with the one, and I just decided to use the Head Shrinkers. So they're just taking on a couple of jobbers here. So in a bout that had decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling, the Head Shrinkers defeated Jim Brunzell and Ross Greenberg in 8 minutes 13 when Fatu pinned Ross Greenberg with a double diving headbutt. And in the ring, Samu was head and shoulders above everyone else. 44 wrestling, yeah, disappointed with that one. 37 crowd, 53 overall. Brunzell and Greenberg have absolutely zero chemistry as partners. We'll have to remember that one next time we have 2 jobbers teaming up. Then we've got a short 2-minute video. It's a video package of Randy Savage. I wanted to use Savage. He's not a commentator in our save, in our world. He's not a commentator. We have him as a wrestler. I have got plans for him. And I didn't use him in a match or an interview or anything like that. He's not involved in a storyline just yet. So I just wanted to get him on the card, and I thought, hype video. It's kind of a cheap one. It's an easy way out, but got us to 73. And then we've got a backstage segment with Gene Okerlund as he stands between the Nasty Boys and Money Inc. And Mean Gene says, gentlemen, things have gotten nasty between you 2 teams lately, and it seems like the Nasty Boys have had just about enough of being left out of the tag team title picture. And then Jerry Sag says, you got that right, Gene. Money Inc.'s been buying their way out of trouble for too long. Well, you can't buy your way out of a fight with us. And then Brian Knobb says, DiBiase, IRS, we don't care how much you've got, how much gold you've got, how much money you've got. When we finally get our hands on you next week, you're going to be paying in bruises. And DiBiase says, everybody's got a price, pal. Even 2 street punks like you. And after we're done, maybe you can shine these belts for us for a small fee. And then IRS says, yeah, and don't forget the tax, tough guy. And then the Nasty Boys sort of lunge forward, shouting. It looks like it's going to kick off, but some officials come in the way. Mean Gene sort of steps back. And we kind of, the segment fades out as it looks like there might be a bit of a brawl. 66 rating. Yeah, I wanted to move this story forward. It did gain heat, so I'm pleased with that one. And everyone sort of did well here. Lots of green. Good stuff. Skinner takes on The Undertaker. Wanted to use The Undertaker. Wanted to give him a match. Want to be using him a lot. And Skinner just looked like a half-decent opponent in a bout that had great heat and decent wrestling. The Undertaker defeated Skinner in 9 minutes 34 by pinfall with a chokeslam. This match was designed to tell a specific story. Had 2 storyline matches. I didn't realise I did that. I don't normally do that, but got a really good score. So 65 for the wrestling, 67 for the crowd, and 79 overall. And the Undertaker and Paul Bearer have great chemistry. Well, that's always good to see. So yeah, pleased with that one. The Undertaker getting an 80. Then we have the pre-match interview from Ric Flair as he prepares to take on Mr. Perfect. So Gene Okerlund says, Ric Flair, tonight it's simple. Loser leaves town. You versus Mr. Perfect. And Ric Flair says, simple, Gene. Nothing's simple when you're the Nature Boy. Mr. Perfect forgot who made him what he is. He turned his back on the man who taught him everything. Well, tonight, I remind him who the man really is. And then Bobby Heenan steps in and says, and when it's over, Gene, Perfect is the one hitting the unemployment line. And then Ric Flair just finishes off and says, Perfect, your time is up. And he does another woo. I'm not doing that again. 73 rating. Hopefully the match can live up to expectations. I'm sure you already know which way this is going to go. 82 overall in a bout that had fantastic heat and good wrestling. And Mr. Perfect defeated Ric Flair in 11 minutes 54 by pinfall with a perfect plex. The match was designed so the wrestlers would go out and try to steal the show. So yes, story, not story. I keep saying the word story tonight. A steal the show match. Really pleased with this one. 71 wrestling, 75 crowd, and 82 overall. Yeah, brilliant. We advanced the story because we've got another segment which is going to end it, but that's fantastic. Ric Flair will be leaving the WWF. And in our final segment, so we've got a 3-minute angle where Bobby Heenan and Mr. Perfect are basically just, they're distraught. So did I say Mr. Perfect? Sorry, Bobby Heenan and Ric Flair are basically just distraught. Their head in their hands in their holding their heads, and Ric Flair's just absolutely like he was in real life, I guess. Kind of circling the ring, just like what has just happened? I don't believe this. And Mr. Perfect sort of goading them and just sort of waving bye as they both sort of go through the curtain. And we closed the show on a 74. Really pleased with that one. We did end the storyline. Now, I am still going to be trying to keep Ric Flair. If I do manage to extend his contract, I'm going to have to think of something to reverse this. How, I don't know yet, but chances are we're going to lose him anyway. Let's see what we get for the final result. 79. Yeah, pleased with that. We haven't lost popularity anywhere. 79 overall then, so we've increased popularity in 13 regions. There's a few other regions here where we could have increased it more, but for viewers. Financial report, we've made nearly 160,000. Popularity recap, yeah, gone up in some areas there. What's that? Mexico and Japan. Emails then, we have got CSP have made an offer to Jake Roberts. Is he not is he not on a written contract then? I take it he isn't. Where can I see his contract from this screen? I'll probably have to go into the main. He's on the he's unemployed. Of course he is. I'm thinking it's 92. Yeah, I put him on our shortlist. Maybe. Jim Neidhart, he's another one. I think he's unemployed at the moment, but I've put him on our shortlist. He's not completely awful. He doesn't have the bad traits that he does in real life, or apart from mercenary. I mean, he might be someone who we could look at bringing in, do something with him, with the Hart family. Don't know yet. Lance Von Erich, just someone else I shortlisted, but he's not really seriously being looked at. Savio Vega, again, in real life, yeah, probably should be signing him, but I know I don't have to do that. But we'll keep him on our shortlist for the moment. Sid Vicious, definitely someone we should be looking at bringing in, really. Maybe not quite yet, but he's on my radar. Who is this CSP, Capital Sports Promotions? Hopefully they're not offering written contracts. I should be looking, I guess. What kind of contracts are they offering? Oh, handshake deals. Yeah, okay. So we haven't got to worry if they do sign him. We can still bring him in. I don't know yet. Drug test fees. Skinner says Fatu is turning into a good worker. And there's our figures for Monday Night Raw. Okay, that's fantastic. We do have a yellow light bulb. Incident involving Lex Luger. Steroid user. Yeah. Never saw that one come in. Stern warning. Okay. We're offering a contract to Marty Jannetty. I'm not going to give him a long-term contract. I'm going to see how it goes with him. So it's a handshake deal. John Nord as well, because the Berserker, just useful to have as a lower mid-card guy, really. So we'll wait for them to come in. I don't really have anything else to sort of show you now. That's kind of it. I will. We only have 2 storylines rated hot and above. Because we've got rid of one of our stories now. Yeah, we need to keep an eye on that. I do have a couple of other stories in mind that I want to kick off soon, but they're not quite ready. Royal Rumble is a good time to start some storylines. While I'm here, though, let's just have a look at Ric Flair. Let's just see. He's still very angry. Negotiate. He's not happy. We're not going to get him. We're not going to get him. I mean, I did offer him. I did actually give him $100,000 to try and cheer him up. It obviously didn't cheer him up enough. I could try again. I could offer even more money. It might be quite cool to introduce a storyline where he somehow manages to get out of the loser leaves town match result, but no. And it'd be nice to have him in the Royal Rumble as defending champion, but I don't think it's going to happen. Well, I'm going to end it there, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that episode. Please give a like and subscribe if you have. Give me any comments below. I'm going to try to record a lot of these in one big, bunch, really, so I keep ahead of myself. I'm going to try to eventually upload 2 a week. I don't know what date this one's going up. I don't know what date the previous one went up, and I have no idea what date the next one's going up. But hopefully I am getting back into the swing of this, and this will be a regular series. Take care of yourselves, everybody, and I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.